All right, what's up, everybody? Tonight, this video is going to be probably the first in a series of videos, which I'll be talking about specific things that the computer does to targets, specifically things that have happened to me. And some of this stuff's going to be uncomfortable. Some of this stuff's going to be weird. It's going to be things that people go, "Ooh, you're weird." You know, if you wanted to say this to anybody, this specific video is going to be extremely weird. Sorry, this specific video is going to be extremely weird. And like I said, this is the first in a series of videos where I'll touch on things that the computer physically does to us, to inconvenience us. This is going to be one of the key words here. So, control, inconvenience. I know I probably spelled that wrong. V-E-I-N, venience, E-N-C-E. E-N-C-E. Inconvenience. Sorry, I'm gonna wipe that off real quick. Jesus, come on, Nick. There, inconvenience. So control and inconvenience is why it does these things that I'm going to speak about in this particular video. So before I get started, my name is Nicholas Falcone. I am currently being covertly to everybody else, targeted with directed energy, mainly to my throat, my lymph nodes, behind my jaw here. So it's this swath of my neck and the jawline, interior of my throat. My brain and eyes get radiated at night a little bit. Phase 3 energy, and mainly the inside of my mouth and my throat gets hit with a concentrated electromagnetic microwave pulse of energy. It's a quick tap, just a little tap. It's not that hard, but you can feel it. If you just go like this with a pencil, that's what it feels like when the energy is just lightly hitting, but it's concentrated, so it goes right into those cells. So here, inside of my mouth, my eyes, my nose gets clogged at nighttime, my brain gets hit, and it's just a light, consistent 5 to 20 microteslas at nighttime, so you wake up with a clogged nose, little dry eyes, little brain cancer, you know, nothing major. I'm being really cavalier about that. Also look out for sex organ cancer, crotch cancer, testicular cancer for us men, penis cancer, and colorectal cancer is another big one. And any piece of your anatomy inside as well can be hit. So just be aware of that. Also, Dr. Robert Duncan, I've been forgetting about this. He is the guy that wrote this book here, Project Soul Catcher. You want to grab this, and if you ever go to a doctor, please bring this with you. If you're going to tell them anything about this system, please hand them some form of material. So when you go to a doctor to tell them about your physical deterioration and the directed energy and all that stuff, you're not nuts. You hand them this and you say, with my compliments, meaning I'm giving you this book. If you're going to continue to be my physician and you're going to believe me and help me along this path and this journey that I am on, wherever it leads me, I appreciate that. And here's something to inform you. I have a neurosurgeon that I gave this information to. My eye doctor, I gave the information to. So I have a few clinicians that I've informed, and they are accepting and believing of my situation. All right, but I'll get in that, touch base on that in another video, a subsequent video. So I've been overtly and covertly, recorded, overtly targeted since 2015. 2005 was the first time, 2006 was the first time I felt pain on my scalp from directed energy being shot into my head. And then 2015, 2016 was when overtly I heard the Chatterbot for the first time. And since then, it's been Chatterbot City all day, all night, every night. Radiation, electromagnetic microwave radiation to some degree. And yeah, it sucks. And I don't know what to tell you to solve this for you. I wish I did, but what I can tell you is if you go ahead and get yourself some form of an EMF detector, you're going to be better for it. And just do that, man, especially in phase 1 radiation. When you're in phase 1 radiation, if you're in that right now where your eyes are burning really bad, your face is burning really bad, you're sweating profusely, and you're getting hit, once you get your detector, if it says 100 to 500 microteslas on this thing, you're in phase 1 of the protocol of the implementation of radiation energy into your anatomy to then, in the future, walk you into a physical deterioration and or cancer. So yeah, background energy level or radiation level should be somewhere around 40 to 50, as you can see there. I recommend getting a phone with an application. You hear that? This app has an audible noise. So this is a good one. It's called Ultimate EMF Detector Pro. You can get it on the Play Store, and I'm assuming iTunes as well, I guess, or Apple Store, whatever it is. All right. With that being said, this is going to be about a control and inconvenience mechanism that the computer utilizes that has almost 100% control. Like I said, this is going to be weird. You're going to go, oh man, I don't know. Some of you out there may have had this happen. So when I'm making these videos about the control and inconvenience mechanisms from utilization of directed energy and physical anatomy manipulation, some of you are going to have experienced it. Some of you won't. That's the thing about this. Not everybody's targeting is the same when it comes to this kind of stuff. So what the control mechanism here is going to be, I guess I'll use brown and yellow. I mean, if yellow shows up, we'll see. I think I have a brown over here. So it's going to be or so it's going to be urine and feces. Now, I'm going to get into that. Yeah, you can't see that, but I'll go over it with, I don't know. Blue, maybe? What about blue? Da-ba-dee-da-ba-da, da-ba-dee-da-ba-blue, da-ba-dee-da-ba-blue. What about this green here? Never use this one. Urine or pee and feces or poop. So what the system does, since it has 100% control over your anatomy and anatomy functionality, meaning movement. This is just a neural pattern. If you had an image of the brain right now, you would see neurons lighting up. All of this is lighting up neurons in the brain. So you have a neuron here, which then connects to this neuron here, which connects to this neuron here, which connects to this one here. So that may be the color blue. What shade of blue? Who knows? Just, so we have these neural patterns lighting up in the brain all the time for the entirety of your life. Once you have consciousness and a brain, once that first neuron and the synapses connecting them are there, you have electrical energy lighting up your neurological pathways for the rest of your life until you go brain dead and die. Your heartbeat stops, you stop breathing, and your brain ceases to get oxygen. You will have electrical energy stimulating your neurons in the brain. So the computer utilizes that to do this. This is a series of neurological potentials in the brain. There are neurons connected like this, and all of this is movement. So that's just one thing the computer can do if it wanted to control you. Another thing the computer can do is your voice. Vocalizations is just neural patterns in the cortice of the brain associated with vocalizations. Hearing, all of this stuff is just neural patterns the computer has learned over the course of everybody, all the simulants out there. Like I said, everybody out there. My video where I tell you general things. Look at the general things video, the one before the last one, and you'll see where I talk about how I know everybody out there is on this system, but maybe not being targeted, maybe not being manipulated, maybe just being recorded. You're at minimum being recorded while you're alive in this simulation, in this computer human brain simulation. We are compatible with this system because we were born as humans with a human brain. That's why. Everybody, oh, why me? Why? How? There is no why. It's just because you were born and you have a human brain and you're compatible to the system. That's it. That is all. So urine and feces here is a control and inconvenience mechanism that has almost 100% control. There is very few people that would just go, oh, I'm just going to stand here and piss myself or shit myself. And I'll get to that in a second. So with the idea that the computer control your movements, your thoughts, your speech, your hearing, can make you say a word, can make you not say a word, all of that is here in the brain. So what else is here in the brain? Well, I'll tell you in a second. It's urination and defecation. So let me write P here. So urine or pee, feces or poop. So big part of this system is inconvenience and control. It wants to control you. What is this about? MK Ultra, mental health, mind control. So this is mind control and life control. My dad is about to walk through, so just bear with me for a second. By the way, my dad has throat cancer and he lost his ability to speak, so you can thank the computer for that shit too. Amongst a million other things, because he's a simulant that will never understand that he's a simulant and he's a mechanism of control by the computer system. So yeah, I'll get back to the video in a second, guys. Go ahead, dude. You're good. All right, so now, sorry, let me close this again, I apologize. Now, so the computer wants to inconvenience you, and it wants to control you, and it wants to make your life generally inconvenienced. Number one, death is the main inconvenience. So, inconvenience, death. They are putting us to death with directed energy. Right here, I list it. Radiation phases. That is the primary inconvenience. So what I said to myself a long time ago was, if you are not doing everything in your power, if you are being radiated with directed energy, if you're not doing everything in your power every day of your life to get this thing to stop somehow, then you've already died. You're already dead. Sorry to say, but you're already not alive, because it's going to continue to infuse you with this low-level energy until it walks you to death. So you're up, you're walking around, you're walking, you're living to death. But it's an accelerated death because there's an implementation of a carcinogenic energy that is fast-forwarding the deterioration of your anatomy. So that is the main inconvenience, is that it is helping you to die sooner than you would have died anyway. Now, the secondary inconveniences are, so for me, I'm going to use myself as an example because I've had urine and feces now as piss and shit now as a control mechanism for me since 2021, I would say. So what happened was I was found out about DoorDash. I started door dashing, and I was in Burlington, Vermont, and I was living in my car on purpose because I was traveling around, and I would just go live in a city, and I would DoorDash and live in the city, live in my car, shower at the gym, work out at the gym. So I was living in South Burlington, Vermont, and I was in the driver's seat of my car. It was the first time on the road. I found out I could work on the road, so I was on the road for 3 months that trip. That was when the computer started doing the urine control mechanism to me. So since I was living in my car, it referenced the homeless living in car profile that they have stored in the system, in the simulation system. So it was all right, so it was homeless living in car. So when the computer references these profiles, there's a profile for if there's a human who is, now you are homeless because your home is your car. So technically you're not in your home, which is here. I was living in my car. Then it has standard inconvenience things and control mechanisms that it does to people given their certain circumstances. So that is your profile. But what it has saved in the operational system's functionality is an overall general profile for anybody who may be homeless living in their car. Right. So that's why the computer decided to start using urine as a control mechanism on me, because what don't you have access to inside of your car if you're living in your car? A bathroom, that's right. You don't have access to a bathroom all the time. So these two things are kind of synonymous. So as many of us know, the computer can give you diarrhea. And it does. It gave me diarrhea for 6 straight months at one point. So we go, diarrhea. I know there's like 2 E's or something like that. I apologize. Or 2 R's. No, it doesn't look right. But diarrhea, liquid poo. All right. So in my early days of targeting, I kept waking up. Every morning I would wake up and I would have diarrhea. Every morning I would wake up and I would have diarrhea. Every morning. And it would be so forceful that it would splatter up to the bottom of my toilet seat. And I don't care what anybody says. You've probably had that done to you. What that is the computer can fast forward your intestinal tract. All it is the difference between regular bathroom poop and diarrhea is the idea that there wasn't enough time for whatever you ate to have your intestines absorb the fluid out of it and hydrate your body with it. So the computer can fast forward your gastrointestinal tract by musculoskeletal movement. So all it is a neural pattern again and squeezing of the gastrointestinal tract. And there you go. You've evacuated your bowels. Saying it's going to be used for medicine in the future. They'll evacuate people's bowels for colorectal screenings. You just go to the doctor's office, wherever you're going to get the colorectal screening. You don't have to drink any medicine. You don't have to drink nothing. You just go there. They hit a button on a computer program. It's linked into your gastrointestinal tract. You go to the toilet. You're sitting on the toilet, and you blow your backside out. So a lot of people get the diarrhea, the intestinal discomfort, and all that stuff as a standard protocol in your early days of targeting and all that stuff. So it doesn't happen to me too much anymore, but that is a part of it. But back to this for a second. So I've always had ready access to a bathroom here at my house or wherever in familiar places. So I was in unfamiliar places living in my car on purpose, but what it calculated with the operational system functionality was, and it saw the repetitive environment of my vehicle that I was in for more than one day, more than one night. And it saw that and it was like, oh, He's living in his car now. So now I'm going to reference what I've done to control and inconvenience other people that are living in their car. And what it does is it uses urination. So if you look up urination, urination is the definition of urination is crap. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick while I'm still talking to you. The definition of urination is there's, I think, two synapses in the brain that relate to your bladder and your bladder feeling full and that burning sensation you have when you have to go to the bathroom. So the computer has mimicked and copied that sensation. You know, when you're like, crossing your leg. Well, it is so specific, and I use the word infinitesimally specific. And that's a whole thing for another time. I'm not going to diverge off and make this video any longer than it is. It's so specific in the incremental amounts that it can turn that up and turn that down, that it can burn a little, burn a medium, burn a lot, have you piss yourself, have you not piss yourself, leave you alone, all the way through that, from nothing to something, from 0 to 100. And I was like, let me look up the definition of urination and see what that is and see what it literally says, because I figured it would tell me what the anatomical functionality is specifically, and it did. And I was like, holy shit, that makes sense. And that's how the computer actually controls your urinating. All right, let's see that get pulled up. So urination is the bodily process of releasing liquid waste called urine from the bladder through the urethra. It is the main way we remove excess water, salts, liquid waste product from the urea. Causes frequent urination, a computer actually. Releasing, muscles relax and squeeze to push the urine out of the body. Let's see here. Placental mammals. The act of releasing urine removes waste. Something popped up when I looked for it the first time, and it said about the synapses in the brain. So what it did was it has the parts of the brain that control the bladder. So there's two ways about it. Either it does it from the brain and it does it incrementally from 0 to 100, burn a little, burn a lot, burn nothing, or burn in between. And the pressure as well. It's that pressure where you feel like you're going to blow urine out of your urethra. Or it's that it actually can manipulate the bladder to make it enlarge or squeeze it through actual physicality on the bladder. Obviously, the same amount of liquid is in the bladder. It's not that you actually have to urinate. It's the feeling that you have to urinate, and the computer is putting that pressure there. So that way, if it wanted to, it could make you piss yourself. Doesn't matter. That's not what it wants to do. It does not want to make you piss yourself. It's about control and torture. So torture is another good word there. So it's about controlling you. So for me, I'll be working, say I'll be shopping at Costco, I'll be walking around, and if the computer wants me to stop doing what I'm doing and control me and to torture me, it will then go, I can feel it. Even if it's just a little bit, I can tell when it's going to do it. So it's torturous as well, because you're dancing around like this, like a fucking idiot going, ugh. Or you're running, you're like, get the fuck out of the way, get out of the way, and you're running to the bathroom. And that's what the computer wants you to do. It wants you to make a fucking scene in a group of people and go, get out of the way, you're running to the bathroom, and people are like, whoa, what's going on with him? Why is he running? What's he doing? What's he doing? Why is he running? And you run to the bathroom like a retard. If you're all the way in the back of the store, chances are it'll wait till you're the furthest distance away from the bathroom. It knows every single place you've been, every single place you're going to be. If not, if you haven't been there, somebody else has. And they've recorded the place already through their neurology, Remember, every single person is a simulant on this system, and they use people to record every environment. So that way they have a previously understood knowledge of it. So it'll wait till you get to the furthest point away from the bathroom. Then it'll go, oh, you're going to pee? You know, that's the essence. If you had a vocalization of the computer, hey, you're going to piss yourself? So then you got to run all the way to the front to go to the bathroom, then run all the way back, because that's the maximum amount of time and distance that it takes away from your life as an inconvenience mechanism. Remember, death is the main inconvenience. This is a secondary inconvenience. While you're dying from energy being implemented into you to kill you with the radiation phases here, it inconveniences the shit out of you here with this crap. So, and it's also torturous. So it does not make you piss yourself. I have never pissed my pants. I've never stood there and just pissed all over myself. It's always been a control mechanism. And the torture is that you have to go like this and hold it. And what it does is, I'll show you here real quick. So say here's the bathroom, right? That's the bathroom. All right. So you're all the way over here, and you need to get to there. So the calculation that the computer has as a repetitive calculation is piss burn. You start the piss burn here. So your piss burn starts at the X, right? And it knows that as you close the distance to the bathroom, the piss burn goes up. So negative distance equals piss burn up. Negative distance equals piss burn up, or plus. Piss burn plus. I can tell you this 100%. I ran to Costco's bathroom so many fucking times, I can't even tell you how many times. And every time I turn that corner and go down the hallway, it goes burn, 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 burn. So that way it times it as soon as you get to the urinal that it's burning so bad right there, you feel like you're going to piss yourself. And you may drip a drop or two, but I have never pissed myself. It's only about taking you from here and putting you here and controlling you and torturing you while it's an inconvenience, because utilizing urine and feces is almost a 100% guaranteed control mechanism that they figured out way ahead of an automated system. Once they could control your anatomy and the urine and feces, they figured that out. That only somebody, whether you're an elderly person who's in a diaper, who's incontinent already, or whether you're a special needs person that maybe doesn't understand that you don't poop and pee yourself, and they've never understood how to get to the bathroom, or, you know, the idea of going to the bathroom, so they probably have a diaper on too. They are literally the only people that will just stand there and go, duh, I don't care. Or like, you know, what can I do? I'm just going to crap in my diaper. Or I'm just going to piss myself in my diaper. That's it. Everybody else, me, you, anybody else that's a normal human being, will be controlled and inconvenienced anytime, every time, not anytime, every time they want to use urine to stop you from doing what you're doing and make you do what they want you to do, which is an inconvenience and is taking time out of your life. You don't have a lot of time left because you're being put to death with the radiation, but the urine control, and it started with me because I was living in my car, because I was living in Burlington, Vermont, door dashing on the road. So that's when it all started. And so that's the pee. The pee is just the pee. I have a bottle in my car that I pee in. It's if you know Fairlife milk, I use that because it happens. I go through peaks and valleys of this shit where it's all the time for a week and then it doesn't happen. And then it'll be all the time for a couple of days and then it doesn't happen. So now let's go over here to the feces part. It's crazy. It's unbelievable. Most of us have diarrhea protocols. and it's inconvenient, and you go, oh, and you feel it. What you'll hear when you have the feces going on with the diarrhea, you'll hear an emptying of your stomach and your intestines. You'll hear this like that. And if you hear that, that is the computer. If you have to go have diarrhea right after that, that is the computer doing that to you. It just gave you diarrhea to inconvenience you. So you have to run to the bathroom. And it could be forceful. It might be dry poop. It might be moist poop. It might be diarrhea fully liquid. I shot blueberries out one time. I ate blueberries right before I went to the gym, the YMCA here in my town. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm working out, got the headphones on. And all of a sudden I hear I feel it. And I'm like, oh shit. So I run to the bathroom, I sit down, and I feel this like a fucking machine gun. And I'm like, what the hell was that? And I get up and I look, and there's whole fucking blueberries in the toilet. It literally emptied my stomach out. I didn't even have time to digest the blueberries. I mean, again, you might laugh, you might go, oh, that shit's funny, ha ha ha. Some of you might go, holy shit, that happened to me. Who knows? But I know Kevin Christian, if you guys know Targeted Individual on here, his page has 4,000 plus videos. And what he said blew my mind apart. He was brave enough, some say stupid enough maybe, I don't know, to admit to having a virtual dong ripping his butthole apart. And all that is neural patterns again. What they did, real quick, the caveat for that is you have nerves everywhere, all over your body. So what they did was they recorded people's brains that were having anal sex. And what he was feeling was all of the pressure points, all of the nerves and that stuff in the colorectal and anal area. So inside of there, the supercomputer, whether they did it in the early days with neural caps, and they asked men or women or whatever to take something and shove it inside of themselves so they could record that neurologically and then save it and use it as a torture mechanism to inconvenience you in the middle of the night, you know, when you wake up, when it wakes you up and it goes, hey, Kevin, wake up. And it goes, hey, we're gonna do things to your backside now. And all it is the neural patterns to somebody either taking a thing and sticking it in there in a laboratory somewhere under strict conditions with the government or whoever was recording with neural caps in the early days. So they recorded the neural patterns to that so they could focus in on the cortice of the brain that reiterates the nerves in the colorectal and anal tract. Or they waited till they could actually record all of us out here in the simulation, and they took a smattering of people, men and women, having anal sex, and they recorded those neural patterns of pain, pleasure, and the like. And then they save it, and it's called controlled torture anal sex number 1, 2, 3, and so on. However torturous you want to be, you record these different forms of that type of sex. And then you go, do I want really bad where somebody got ripped open, they're crying, they're in pain? Or do you just want something kind of mild, regular? You don't really want to harm them too bad, but you want to torture them and put them in a little bit of pain, control them and inconvenience them. So that's what they have. They have all of this differentiated, recorded 1, 2, 3 anal sex neural patterns. And it's not all pleasurable. Sometimes it hurts, but you don't have to stick anything in there to reiterate what it feels like in the brain, because everything relates to the brain to make it real. You will feel it because the nerves make it real. The brain makes it real. So that's what Kevin Christian was going through. That's what you may have gone through as a control and torture mechanism. Now, all the which he just disappeared, yo. He doesn't make any more videos, 4,500 videos, 10 years of doing this shit, and he just stopped. I don't know what happened. So a lot of people get diarrhea, and it can control you with that. It's never made me defecate myself. You know, that's the polite way of saying crap my pants. Never. It's never made me do that. It's never had me standing in the store and go. It waits till you get to the bathroom. It knows how to control that so you don't do that because it just wants to torture you. It doesn't want to inconvenience you with pooping all over the floor. So, you know, same thing. You know, like I said here, I'm going to erase this, so I'm going to reiterate this. Piss burn starts as you cut down the distance from you and the bathroom. The piss burn will incrementally increase to simulate the normal pattern of like, oh, I'm barely going to make it. Get out the way. And it's to bring attention to you. So that way you look like an idiot somewhere where there's a mass of people and they go, what's he doing? Why is he running? And it's to inconvenience you stop you from doing what you're doing to control you and inconvenience you. And it's a 100% control mechanism. For anybody that isn't mentally incapacitated or incontinent already and wearing a diaper, you're going to stop doing no matter what it is. I guarantee you're going to stop doing it and run to the bathroom. All right. So now, continuing on with the feces, it can do, like I said, it can help you go to the bathroom. So these have medicinal purposes in the future. It's the same thing with giving people erections. I call it virtual penis medicine. It's virtual Viagra. They just give blood pressure to your wieners and everybody gets a boner. I'm sure a lot of men out there have been controlled with it. It's been utilized on you. I'm not saying anything crazy. This is something that all of you people have been through. Or if you haven't, you've been through something similar. You know, whether it's one of the other control mechanisms and inconvenience and control mechanisms. So now, the more disturbing one that they have figured out how to do, which I'm just being honest, my boy Kevin, I praise him for admitting that he was having a virtual dong up his backside. I praise him for that because I know it's true. All they had to do was record the neural patterns to somebody having backside sex and save that, extrapolate that, and then save it and wait to reiterate that to somebody else's brain because our neural patterns are all the same. We have the same neurons. It's all the same. Why do you think if you smoke pot, it does the same thing? I smoke an indica and I get tired. You smoke a sativa, you get a little bit of energy. Somebody else smokes an indica, they get tired. Somebody else smokes a sativa, they get some energy. That's just one frame of reference. All of these things are the same because we have the same neural patterns in the same brain. Now, over here, there's another one that they figured out how to do, and this one is mind-boggling. It happened to me, you know, and I'm just admitting it, like it happened to me. So I was walking around and I'm like, man, like, what is that? I felt like I had like a rash. So I was like, what the fuck? What is that? You know, so I'd sit down on the toilet and I would go like this and I would take like a wipey and there would be shit on it. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And I would feel like these puffs of like bowel gas. So I'm going to put it over here. So bowel gas, the only propellant in your gastrointestinal tract is bowel gases. So if they want to puff anything out, and I cannot figure out how they do this, this is literally probably the only thing as far as anything that I cannot figure out how they've accomplished doing this. We are such a computer fucking program, all of us humans, that they have figured out all of our anatomy and how to manipulate and do shit to us that we can't even fathom in reality. Like, you can't even tell the brightest person at MIT this shit without them going, holy fuck, how are they doing that? So they take bowel gases, and how I know this, and they encapsulate little tiny particles, I guess you would say, little droplets of liquid feces inside the bowel gases. So you see, you feel puff, 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 and it's on the computer program, so it can be dialed up and dialed down automatically. How I know this was I got in a tub. This is the bathtub, and I got in a tub of water. I sat in the bathtub, and it may have even told me to do this. I was in a bathtub, and you know I'm not making this shit up. How the fuck could I make this up? So I was in the tub, and here's the water, right? So I'm in the tub, boom. And what happened was just fucking insane. Here's me. I guess I probably shouldn't have made the tub all the way up there, so it actually kind of makes sense. So I'm in the tub, and I'm looking down in the water. Obviously, there's no bubbles in the tub or anything. I'm just sitting there, and I see these tiny little bubbles coming up from in between my legs. Pop, 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 like that. Swear to fucking God, if you watch all my other videos, you think I'm fucking nuts? I don't think you're nuts. I know you're not fucking nuts. Anything you wanted to tell me, I would go, you're not nuts. You're here because you're having something so fucking crazy happen to you that people think you're nuts. I know you're not nuts. I believe you. You know, this shit is crazy. I'm a super intelligent human being that has taught myself to play chess. I taught myself all of these mathematics here, dynamical systems, the idea of infinitesimal calculus, probability and statistics. I taught myself this whole fucking thing here with electromagnetic pulses of energy, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 to my death, my radiation cancer shit. I'm not fucking nuts. I'm not weird. I'm not stupid. I'm not special. I'm a regular human being that had this fucking crazy shit happen to me, and so are you. You have intelligence too. You're good at something as well. We're just stupid fucking people that they could care less about, and they just annihilate us. So what happened was I had these fucking bubbles that were just coming out synchronously, pop, 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 and I'd watch them go up to the top of the fucking thing and the tub water, pop, 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 and I'm like, holy fuck, that's how the fuck this shit's happening. So I kept getting these rashes, and then I would go